All right, we should be live. So I'm just gonna let the Discord know that we're live currently. Cool. Change the title up a little bit. So today, the plan is to start our file uploader Google Drive clone once again, but I wanted to quickly, before I get started, showcase that I have come across this GitHub repo, which will fix hopefully the display capture freezing problem, right? So we can actually run that as a, we can run this script, right? So we can do Python 3 OBS display monitor source, and then we can give it our source, which is external monitor. I think that's what it's called. Let me just check. Yeah, and then I can just do the default credentials. I also have to get a password too. So let me just do that over on my other monitor. So just bear with me. Let's just, oh shit. Okay, so let's regenerate a password here. There we go. Wait, I wanted to generate a new one. Okay. Should have done this before stream, but I kind of just wanted to showcase that this is how this worked. Okay. So now this should work. Pip install. Wait a minute. Hold on. Yo, how's it going, Codex? Welcome, welcome. Why is this not working? WebSocket client not installed. Let's see. Okay, so do I have to go through this whole rigmarole again? I think I do. V environment.venv. Okay, and then source. venv spin/activate. And then okay, there we go. Now this command should work. Nice. Okay. So now we've got this display capture checker, which will hopefully refresh the display every single time it freezes. So we won't get random freezes happening. So shout out to this guy on GitHub for that. I'm just gonna leave that minimized. So there we go. What's his name? Yayuan Lee. Shout out to him for this. I butchered the pronunciation of that, but you know. Anyway, shout out to him. Okay, so let's get started. I've got my notes here. So I initialized my file uploader project, and the first order of business, we meet again. Welcome, welcome, Dr. Blue. Nice to see you. The order of business, first order of business is to successfully containerize the database instance with Docker and ensure that the Drizzle connection works. So I went ahead and wrote this basic Docker compose. There might be things missing here, but I think this has everything I need at a basic level. I don't have an env file defined yet, which is something that I have to do for this, which I'm probably going to do on my other monitor just because I mean, it's just going to be like localhost stuff, so I probably don't have to worry about that. but just for the connection. And then I'm going to spin up this container and then connect to it and then test that connection. So that's kind of the first order of business here. So let's go over to, and this is, by the way, the first time that I'm doing this, so just bear with me. I'm just going to do it in my other monitor just so that I have, so I don't leak any of the environment stuff. So we'll do the database URL and the database user name and database password. Okay. Then we'll go to my browser. Oh, that's not the right one. Let's go over here. So let's go to I don't know if the actual Docker Compose can grab from get environment variables in Docker Compose. I think this should work, right? With just yeah, env file. So that's right. So that should work just fine if I define stuff in here. So let's do that. We'll use the username, and then we need that URL as well. Which I need to get. Forgot the exact Postgres URL format. Yeah, so PostgreSQL do Postgres at localhost, and then we need the database name, right? Call it BenStack drive DB. But I don't know if that's going to work. We'll find out. So anyway, so that should be fine. So let's bring this back. And now we just like try to spin this up, I guess, and see if something happens. And I also, it's my understanding too that this volume, if I define a volume here, like BenStack drive, it should be created for me when I compose, right? So if I do, now this is like the moment of truth, we'll see, Docker compose. I did write a command for this as well. Where is it? Yeah, Docker compose upd. But I just want to write it directly. So let's see. Okay, so that did not work. Volumes must be in mapping. So did I forget something? Or is it because there's no volume created? Docker volume ls. Yeah, so I've got all those volumes. So maybe I need to create the volume before. Do you need to create volume before Docker compose? Let's see. Yo, how's it going, Zio? Welcome. Need to create the project. Define volumes. Yeah, because I defined the volume here, right? Okay, so this guy, compose files invalid because volumes does not match any other regexes. Yo, how's it going? The Nirix. I don't know if I said your name right. Not sure whether the volume name should be the path of my directory. Let's see. You don't need both volumes and services.volumes. Map the host directory. Ah, so this would be the host directory, and then that's the, or no, but you're mapping it to a volume, right? So so the volume is here. So this volume needs to be created, right? If you want to use the volume section to indicate a global volume to use, you first have to create that volume using docker volume create. Ah, okay, so you do. That makes sense. Yo, how's it going? Full stack, welcome, welcome. Nice to see you all. Currently, right now, I'm trying to make my database into a container. Containerize the database for this project. That's the first step. So, but I don't want to have to do this Docker volume create. Maybe that is. Maybe that is something I have to do. Like if I can't create a volume inside of Docker Compose, like can you create volumes in Docker Compose? I don't know. Because you can use them, I know that, but volumes are persistent data, yeah. So we know what that is. To use a volume, external specifies the volume already exists on the platform. Its lifecycle is managed outside of the application. Okay. But I want to like create it as a part of the. So if you write a named bind mount, use the local driver with driver ops. This pattern gives a compose volume a stable name. Oh, okay. So I could do that. Streaming early today? Yeah, I am. Girlfriend's shift is it's a mid shift, so she's out this afternoon. So I'm getting that done, and then we're gonna have a nice little dinner and movie night. So that I needed to get the stream done so that we could do that. So I like afternoon streams though, generally, just because then I have the evening, which is nice. I'd stream in the afternoon my time every day if I could, if it wasn't for the fact that I needed to work to make money. Okay, so this is options. I don't know what this O is here. I would assume just options, right? But this is a bind mount, a named bind mount. But that's not really what we want. We want an actual volume. So maybe I do need to create it firsthand. I really like that you're taking learning seriously. Most CS graduates stop learning because they rely too much on AI. Amen, brother. That's exactly. And you know what? I think it's just my age as well. I don't know. I feel like a lot of younger kids out there rely too much on AI just because they've had it since like they were like 13, 14 years old. But AI didn't come out, like GPT didn't come out until I was basically 22 years old. So like I wasn't, and I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh, because I'm that age, I didn't use it because I knew what the world was like before AI, and like I could do school before AI and these sorts of things. But I mean, there are people like 10, 15, 20 years older than me that are kind of suckers to AI as well. So it's not just about that, but I think it's also a mix of that and also just a personal like opinion. I think that AI kind of it like takes out the fun, right? So AI is a cult, yeah. Actually, I was just talking to one of my friends about how somebody he's friends with it has like kind of bought into the AI cult. So yeah, so to speak, I suppose. Okay. So let's just like, we can just create the volume, I guess. I guess we just have to create it beforehand. So let's do docker volume create. Because I don't know how to actually do that. Okay, so you can just do that. So we just do docker volume create BenStack. Let's do it snake case. I kind of like snake case. So that should be fine. So if we create that volume now, and then we do docker volume ls, we should see it, right? Perfect. Okay, good. So again, let me know if the display freezes, but I did get a script from GitHub that refreshes and checks. So what am I cooking? I'm currently starting to make a Google Drive clone, Goth Slayer. If you want to read more about it, you can read it here. I have more detail about the project. I just don't want to, you know, go through a whole spill necessarily, just because it's yeah. It's not just AI. Social media has also contributed to this. Many people spend hours doom scrolling, consuming endless content instead of putting in the effort to learn. Yeah, exactly. It's that. It's also peer pressure, right? Because if you see, like, people have, and this is what I will say too, is people have, or they kind of, on social media, it's kind of like, you know, kids these days use like LARPing, right? Everyone's trying to like best each other in appearance, right? So it's like if I'm using AI with like 17 million workflows and all these loops and agentic stuff, like I can produce as much output as possible. And it's kind of like a race, right? So everyone's trying to compete with one another to be the best X, right? But like if you realize that like life isn't a race and you can just do shit the way you want to do it and kind of enjoy life, then like it kind of just like takes you out of that whole mental trap, right? Of like feeling like you have to use AI. And at least that's kind of like, I've gotten to a point in my life where I'm like at peace with the fact that like I don't have to compete with other people. I can just do things at my own pace and do things the way I want to do things and learn and be passionate about tech in my own way. And I feel like, you know, my YouTube audience is kind of, yeah, a lot of them agree, so. So that's kind of my thing. Okay, so now this theoretically should work, right? Because we have the volume created. So if we compose this, okay, so that didn't work. Volumes must be a mapping. Okay, so but I think, does it think that this doesn't exist? Because I mean, I put it here. Oh, maybe it, because it needs to be. Oh, maybe this is the syntax. Like this. I'm not sure. We'll find out. Ah, it does work. Okay, that was the problem. It was a syntax error. Okay. So we have the container. Wait a second, did it map a new volume to, what did it do here? So if I go to docker volume ls, oh, it like mapped a volume to this oh. Why did it do that? That's really weird. Or is it because of this? Is it because I just do it? So if I delete this container, so if I do docker ps, wait, is that not running? Container BenStack drive db1, docker ps a. Yeah, okay, so it's not running, I guess. Interesting. So I guess I have to have then a Docker file associated with this, right? Every so often your screen just goes black for 0.1 seconds. Yeah, that's the refresh script, I think. That's probably this. So I might, you know what I'll do then? Because if this is annoying, what I might do is I'll just stop it and then let me know if my thing freezes. Because there's an issue with macOS OBS where it freezes. So if I exit out of that, that should fix the problem. But then my screen might freeze. So just keep a lookout for that. But that's what that is, Tyler, for sure. So I need to keep figuring it out. I don't know why it would blink. Oh, it went black just now? Really? Can you... Oh, after you closed it? Okay, so is it still black? Let me know if it's still black. Now so they're talking about token maxing and competing over who can spend more tokens. Yeah, exactly. It's just like they're burning themselves into the ground, basically. Funnily enough, I started learning the Odin Project. It flashed black again. Oh yeah, that was on purpose. I refreshed it manually. So can you see it now? Yeah, no, I agree. That last flash was me doing that on manually to refresh it. Funnily enough, sorry, yeah. But when we, I recently found you and been watching you here. And I appreciate that, MCH. We're more or less in the same place. That's awesome. Very cool. I've watched you long ago, and then now at day 125. Great, that's awesome. First place. I appreciate that. I'm still going, man. I'm not going anywhere. We're gonna continue to do bigger and better things. Okay, so appreciate that first place. Appreciate that. So then if I define the volume here, then maybe I don't need to do this. Maybe I can just do it like this. I'm not 100% sure if this is the way this works. So if I docker rm BenStack drive db1, then we remove it, and then so there's no containers, because I just want to see docker volume rm BenStack drive, because I don't want it to be like this. Drive BenStack drive. Okay, so then docker volume ls. Okay, so then now this should maybe work. W, appreciate that. And in. What do you mean? Let's see. Docker compose up. Let's see what happens. Empty section between colons. Oh. So if I just do a dot, then maybe. Okay, then so that should be. So this should be mapping. This dot should map to this BenStack drive, right? So if we list the volumes, yeah. So we have the same volume, right? So that's good. And then if I go to Docker PSA, we can see the BenStack drive here, but it's exited, so it's not running. So I think I actually need to define, like for inside of the Docker compose, I need to define, was it running? Docker compose run? Okay, so let's go to start up the Docker compose start up or run container. So how do I compose? Oh, Docker compose run, is that it? Okay. So if we, let's just remove this again just for practice. So Docker container or Docker image. Let's see Docker image. Because would that be an image that we created? Postgres 18 Alpine. I think that's the right one. So we have all these images from the tutorials. Okay, so Docker container rm BenStack drive db. Okay. Now if we do Docker compose run. Okay, so that's not how you do that. The following command starts the web service and runs bash as its command. Oh, I see. It's running a command. I see. Okay. Oh, you need to specify a specific one. So Docker compose run db. PSQL h, the host is db, and then the, I don't know what the u is. Please don't get close to Kuber; it'll devour you. And promise never suffered before is Kubernetes. Yeah, I'm not doing Kubernetes. Don't worry. I literally all I'm trying to do is get my database in a Docker container. That's literally it. So, build image before starting container. Yeah. So if I do run db, does this like work? Database is uninitialized and super user password is not specified. Postgres password. That's the name of the environment variable. It's not database password. Okay. So let's go to this. Let's go to this here. Okay, so I need to change that. So we need to initialize the database, right? So there's no actual database initialized. So at -e Postgres password. May also use Postgres host auth method. Yeah. So that will just modify here. Postgres env. I just want to see what the environment variables are. PG. Okay, there's PG though. I don't think that's the right thing. Let's see. Okay, so it's Postgres DB. So it'd be Postgres DB. So Postgres URL, Postgres user, Postgres password. And then Postgres DB is, we'll just say like drive DB. Okay, so now we fixed the environment. So let's bring that back. Let's actually move this over here. So let's see. So if we run DB, okay. Warning, found orphan containers. For this project, if you removed or renamed the service in your compose file, you can run this command with the remove orphans flag. Ah, I see. Okay. So in 18 plus, the Docker images are configured to store database data in a format which is compatible with pgctl cluster. Counter to that, there appears to be PostgreSQL data in here. It's usually the result of upgrading the Docker image without upgrading the underlying database. Probably because I already initialized it, right? So the volume is open, or sorry, the volume is already being used for things, right? So that's a bit interesting. So if we go to Docker PS, yeah, so we see our drive DB runs here. So we get a Docker container, rm80 and then 9f. I'll just remove those. Okay. And we have to clear the volume, which is kind of annoying because so the volume already has shit in it. So, all right, let's take our first 5-minute break. And also bear with me, guys. I am, you know, new to brand new to Docker, so we're still learning. So if I go to my environment variable, okay, so let's just fix this. There we go. How do I do? I'm doing all right, Anime. Long time no see, my friend. Welcome back. But I'm doing all right. Try my best. It's you know, all I can do. All I can do, I guess. So. Wait, is this all of Stack Overflow? There's only 2,000 people online? That's brutal. AI age it's got it cooked here. Do you plan on working as a front-end, back-end, or full-stack dev, or do you just learn all the skills as a side thing? Right now, at MCH, it's a side thing, but eventually I plan on having full-stack development something that's in my roster. I don't know if it's eventually where I'm going to end up as far as a career, but it's certainly something that I want to learn and have my options open to. But right now, I'm not like even close to being ready, so... Yup, long time. Oh, building a Google Drive clone? Yes, that's the idea. We're still, you know, light years away from finishing it. This is literally the first stream back where I have created my stack and I did a test to-do project, and then I did a little bit of a Docker side quest. So I was learning some Docker so that I can, you know, because that's an important thing to learn for, you know, containerizing the different apps and database and these sorts of things that are in my project. So, you know, but now we're back to it. So far, do you enjoy front end or back end more? I like both for different reasons. I find back end more interesting as far as like problem solving. Like front end coding is a little mundane, but I do find it fun because the thing with front end is it's very visual. So the feedback is a lot better, I find. I haven't even learned to use Docker. I need to learn that in AWS and Azure Cloud. Yeah, I mean, I would honestly, when it comes to cloud stuff, I would just pick one. Like I use Azure at work, but we use it mainly for like MDM and hosting VMs that have databases on them. That's pretty much it. And like user management as well, like group policy and stuff. What are you thinking about overhyped machine learning DS? Is that data science? Are you saying that like ML DS like is overhyped? Because I don't know. I don't even know if it is, like, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, I think data science for sure has its applications. It's not something that is like my go-to interest. I've done a bit of data science. I took a data mining class, and I've also done a bit of biostatistics and these sorts of things. So in my first degree, because if you don't know, my first degree was in biology, and we did some biostatistics for like population dynamics in ecosystems. It's the highest paying course right now. What, like Azure? Azure Cloud, Azure, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I don't know. I've honestly, it's funny because I'm in an Azure course right now through work, but I've learned like most of what I need from it to. Oh, you meant MLAI. Oh, gotcha. Hey Ben, checking on your progress. It's been a while. Looking good, brother. I appreciate that, artist. Thanks for checking in. I know it's been a while. Life kind of got in the way, but I appreciate you dropping by. I've seen you use TypeScript. Did you find the translation from it to JS difficult? Not really, and because I do have a computer science degree, so we took classes on like programming, principles of programming with like the necessity of typing, and I also took a compilers course. So like I'm familiar with static typing and its benefits. So for me, it wasn't too bad. But to somebody who's like not a programmer, I could see the transition being difficult. If anything, I think TypeScript has kind of helped me like organize my code better. I should have said job, not course. Oh, gotcha, anime. It's the highest paying stuff. Yeah. See, for me, it doesn't really concern me about like the pay. Like I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like I work in like mid-level IT, low to mid-level realistically. Like I'm not help desk, but I'm like one level above help desk, right? And like the pay is shit compared to a lot of other jobs, like a lot of other tech jobs. Like the pay is terrible. Like if I'm not going to say how much I make online, but it's very average. Okay. The pay doesn't really bother me that much. It's more like like what you're doing on the job that I care about more. So that's the other thing too is IT, especially the pay is not that good, especially if you're working for the government. But job security is good, so I hope at least, unless they find me and then I might be screwed. How do you manage to do 2-3 hours almost every day of learning with 9 to 5? Honestly, it's not easy. I will say it's not easy. The number one thing keeping me going is the hope of eventually leaving my 9 to 5, and whether it's doing my own stuff or because eventually I want to maybe run my own business of some sort or something like that. I don't know whether it's like freelance or consulting or something like this. I honestly don't know, but I have this vague goal in the future of not being beholden to the 9 to 5 and kind of building my tech skills. Like not only do I enjoy these streams and problem solving live, but also just this like hope that like I want better for myself in the future. And I think that plus the support that I get from the community is what's kept me going for 6 months. And like when you guys come in and support and subscribe and these sorts of things, like it really does motivate me to keep going. So all right, so let's try starting this again just so that I can understand what's going on. Okay, so it's still erroring out, and I think that's because the volume is built, right? It has stuff in it. So I don't know how to clear volume. So let's figure out how to clear a volume. Clear Docker volume. How to remove, because I can remove the volume, but like purging all the unused or dangling images, containers, volumes. I guess it would be dangling. I don't know if it would be dangling. I don't care. All of the stuff that I have on my Docker thing are all basically just tutorial stuff anyway. So let's just see. Okay, so now if we try running the database again, okay, so there's still stuff in the volume, right? So I don't know how to I guess because there's stuff in the volume, it didn't remove it, right? I mean, I could always just remove it. Like if I do docker volume ls, I can see that BenStack drive is here, right? So I can do docker volume rm BenStack drive. This is going to be a pain in the ass though but this is just for testing, right? Once I get this thing configured and working, then we're all good. And then I'm also going to do, when I do this run db, I want to do, what was the command for cleaning up orphans? Where was it? I forget. Remove orphans, that's what it was. Remove orphans. Okay, so that still didn't work. And it didn't, so found orphan containers for this project if you removed or renamed it. Okay, so it still says there's stuff in there. Interesting. Like what type of strategy better, building own SaaS or learning stuff, or mix it? Kind of complicated question for me. I think learning stuff first and then building SaaS stuff after that, Zio. That's what I would do. Learning first for sure. Yeah, see, I don't know what this even means. Are configured to store database data in a format which is compatible with PG-CTL cluster. Unused mount volume is usually resolved if the Docker measures upgrading. So if I do Docker PS again, yeah, so I can see both of these. So that didn't clean up the orphan, which is kind of annoying. That's silly. I wonder if I then give it its own Docker file for the image. Like, so if I do, I don't know. Yo, how's it going, Derv? I'm gonna go read for a bit while wife and kids are napping. Hope you have a good evening with the missus. Catch you later, bro. Appreciate that, Codex. Thanks for coming around. Need to upgrade Postgres. Do I? Like on my local system? Is that what the problem is? Because I think I have Postgres here, right? It's Postgres 18, but what's the Postgres on my local system? You updated it and not the databases? Okay, but then the image is Postgres 18, but then, so it should just use that as the base image, no? Like, where would I have to upgrade specifically, or do I need to upgrade? Like, does it need to? Like, so if I do PG upgrade, or is there like a version, a way of checking the version? PG version? PSQL. Yeah, so it's 18.4 on my system, right? And then here I'm creating 18 Alpine, right? So if I go to Postgres images, I can use the Alpine prefix, right? 18 Alpine right here. And then that creates the Postgres, right? The Postgres image, or at least it should. And then I'm exposing it on that port, which is fine. And then I also made sure, by the way, because I had Postgres running locally on my system, obviously, because that's how I was making the previous databases before. So I ensured to stop that service, right? So if I go to, I think it's Bruce Services. Yeah, see, I stopped it. So upgrade your Docker volume configuration to mount the parent directly varlib PostgreSQL instead of the data subdirectory. So after updating the mapping, you may need to migrate your existing data to match the new directory structure, or use PG upgrade to upgrade the database data to the new format. Okay, so, but I'm just trying to define this for the first time. Like, I have no data that I need to migrate. So just to this then. Like, so just to varlib PostgreSQL. So that's where I'm mounting, right? And I'm using this period here because I'm using this volume. So that's my understanding. So I have this volume BenStack drive, which I've created. So if I go to Docker volume ls, oh, it's actually not even in here. Interesting. It was before. So let's just try this one more time. It's probably going to error out. initdb. The user must also own the server process. Okay, that looked like something did this work. This did something differently. You can start the database server using pg control log file start. Okay. Oh, because it didn't map it to the volume. This is, hold on. The volume didn't get created. So it just put it into this directory. Okay, that's not what I wanted at all. Let's just delete that. And then, so it mounted to disk, right? It didn't actually map to this volume. That was what happened. Okay, so if I go to, I thought that would create the volume, but apparently it doesn't. So if I go to Docker volume create BenStack drive, there, now I've created that, so it should mount to the volume and not here, right? So then if I go to Docker PSA, we see all of these, which I should probably just clean up. So Docker container prune clear. Bro, hey, watching you since some time. I'm also looking forward to learn full stack. Can you guide me a bit, like some tips and roadmap? Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. If I went through an entire roadmap spill, it would take too long for right now. But what I would recommend as like a quick TLDR is take a look at the Odin Project. That's kind of what I used, and then I kind of just went through the Odin Project, and you know, as you gain skills from that, you'll be able to learn and expand your skill set. So that's what I would recommend doing. Do I have to learn JavaScript to learn TypeScript? I would know JavaScript to a basic level, Vane. I would know JavaScript like not basic level, but like I would know JavaScript enough to make basic vanilla HTML, CSS, and JavaScript projects, like using JavaScript for DOM manipulation, basic functions, OOP, these sorts of things. So that's what I would do, and then make the jump. Try making the jump to TypeScript, right? Okay, so now let's see. So if we have no processes, and then if let's just do Docker compose upd. Oh, but it's still mapping to the, oh shit, that's not what I want, guys. I want to map it to BenStack drive, which is what I had been doing. So am I looking for a job or something? Or just learning for now? Yeah, just learning for now. Love to connect on streams, by the way. Appreciate that, Darsh. But yeah, no, just learning for now. So I wonder if I need to do BenStack drive here. Again. Define that instead of because it's mapping to my local directory and not the drive. So let's try that again. All right, so presumably that, but it did this bullshit where it like creates a sub volume underneath the volume, which I don't like. Right? I don't know. Are you a student? I was a student. Am I asking too much? No, not absolutely not. But if you want to know a little bit more about me, you can read my FAQ here. So those are some answers to some common questions that I usually get. So, okay. So see, but it did this stupid subdirectory thing, right? Which is not really what I want, or this created this like sub volume. So if I go to like Docker volume ls, it's like got this stupid second volume, which I don't want. But then, for example, let's just say, so if I do Docker PS, we have the running thing, and then I do Docker stop BenStack drive db1, and then Docker container prune. So we prune it, and then we also do Docker volume rm BenStack drive and BenStack drive BenStack drive. Then that removes those. So if I do Docker volume ls again, those are gone, which is good. And if I remove this declaration, then this won't work. It won't create this volume, right? Or actually, maybe unless I do this, unless I do Docker volume create BenStack drive, if this then works, right? And then if I do Docker compose up d, server db refers to an undefined volume. Okay, so we'll define it. But then the problem is when we define it, so let's do Docker volume rm BenStack drive. Okay, that removes the volume. Now does this work? I don't know. We'll find out. But this might then do the stupid BenStack drive underscore BenStack drive thing again. You're not declaring anything under your BenStack drive volume. Don't you have to have a dir declared? Do I? I don't know. Let's find out. Docker compose volume. Yeah, see, like this, I was just following this guide here where it was just a default, right? So you have db data, and then the var lib backup data stuff, right? So I was using this as kind of like a guide, right? So there's like a driver attribute, specifies which volume driver should be used, but I don't think that really matters. So you can do a bind mount with local, right? Like here. So you can give it, like, you can bind the volume to a different host path, from what I understand. So, like, I don't know. So I don't know if it, like, maybe it needs a name. Because the volume's there, right? Or was anyway. But if I do Docker compose up d, that will presumably create this volume, but then it'll create this like sub volume underneath. So it'll be BenStack drive underscore BenStack drive, which is not really what I want. And I think this just comes down to like a lack of understanding of how this works. But that's okay. So let's just try this again. Yeah, it did that again. It's not creating because it's an empty variable. Yeah, but where would I define that path then? Like what do I define under here to make that, like, I don't know, because here, yeah, see, running Docker compose up creates the volume if it doesn't already exist. Otherwise, the existing volume is used and is recreated if manually deleted. Try adding the name. Okay, so if I did name BenStack drive like this. Okay, so then I'll prune everything again. So I'll do Docker stop BenStack drive db1, and then Docker container prune, and then I'm going to do Docker volume rm BenStack drive. Okay, so that works. Clear, and then we'll just do Docker volume ls. Okay, we don't see it. And then now this maybe will work. Pretty nice read, that FAQ, and I'm also doing Bachelor of Science Honors CS. Nice, that's awesome. I did a very similar. Mine was Bachelor's of Applied Science, so I have a BASC honors as well. That's my degree. So okay, so we do the name. So let's do Docker compose up again. There we go. That worked. Okay, artists, you're cooking here. So that was what it needed. It just did need a name. So it was giving it a default name. That's basically what it was doing. Okay, so that's exactly what I wanted. So now if I do Docker volume ls, then we just see BenStack drive, right? And then we should also see that the process is running, which is good. And then now, theoretically, we can connect to that database, right? So we can do some sort of like Docker. I forget how to like run a command in a running in a running container. Yeah, okay, there we go. I didn't know that it needed that, so I appreciate it. So it was assigning a default name, essentially. I thought it would have just figured that out anyway, but there we go. Okay. So now we need to connect. I just want to connect to this guy here. So if I go to my get started, I know I had, like, if I can go to my notes here, because I have the Docker stuff. There was a way of running a command inside of this guy, right? Docker file. This is volumes. Okay, no. Docker compose images. Okay, now where was that? Maybe I didn't write it down. Because surely there's a way to run a command to open something here. Let me just get to my, I think it was here, right? It was in one of these. Yeah, so for the it's for the network. And then PSQL, yeah. So then, oh, it's Docker exec. That's what it is. It's Docker exec. Docker exec. The DataDB example is already mounted volume, so it already has all the assigned variables. Got you. Okay. It's Docker exec, is it not? Or is it Docker run exec? I forget. Docker exec. Oh, Docker container. That's what it is. Docker container exec. So Docker. Oh, it's just Docker exec. So we open up a terminal, and then we'll do BenStack drive db1. And then we'll do PSQL Postgres. Right? Nice. Now we're in the Postgres instance inside of the container, I think. So we didn't find any relations. I don't know how to list databases inside of Postgres. PSQL list databases. I forget what it is. Oh, is it -L? Okay, so we have drive DB. There it is. There's our drive DB that we defined from our, hold on, let me go to my environment variable. I defined the drive DB. Nice. Okay, we're cooking. There we go. There's the drive DB. Obviously, it doesn't have anything in it, but we can do drive DB. Right? It's almost midnight back in India. We'll meet afterwards. Sounds good, Darsh. I appreciate you coming around, my friend. Okay, nice. So now we're in this thing, right? We're inside the database. So now the database is running, right? Which is good. That's what we want. And then we have Docker PS. So then we have our Docker BenStack drive running. So now that port 5432 is exposed to this container, right? So now locally, when we connect to the database inside of like the DB package, then it'll connect to that container, right? Hey Ben, do you remember me? A few days ago, you suggested the Odin Project to me, and really thank you from the bottom of my heart. However, now I need something that can help me with JavaScript from scratch. Okay, so if you want from scratch, like no experience, I would recommend Free Code Camp. That's my recommendation. You can do JavaScript right here. You can start learning basic, like right from the beginning. And this kind of gives you a, it gives you a an environment to kind of work in, right? That gives you like right from the beginning. So like, what is a string? Understanding why code needs to be clear, and then and it gives you all of the code. Like you can write the code right in the browser, right? So you don't have to worry about setting up a text editor or all these sorts of things, right? So that's good. So that's nice. Good. So there we go. So we successfully, I think, containerized the database. So the only thing we need to do now is ensure that the connection works with Drizzle, right? But I'm also going to do better off as well. So I'm going to add that to my to-do. I also want to move this over here. So nice. And now if I don't stop this Docker process, it'll just keep running, I think, right? Which is fine. I don't really care if it does keep running. So very cool. So it took us like an hour to do that, but we did it completely, manually. So I'm pretty happy with that. Just gonna have a quick snack break. Just have a granola bar. Now change the image to Alpine in the first line APK add Postgres. But is this not... Does this not have like Alpine underneath it though? Like if I go to the Postgres container, sounds good, artist. Thank you for all your help. I really appreciate it. Yes, just gives you a full OS image. It's fun. Yeah, because if I go to Alpine here, right? Like it starts with the, so if I zoom this in, whoops. There we go. It gives you the, starts from Alpine, right? It gives you full OS's image. I'll definitely play around with that on my own, but I think for the purposes of this project, I want to keep it simple. But I hear you. So now we just need to get the connection working, right? Okay, so does that fix this? It does, okay. And then I think it's Postgres URL. So we'll see if that client connection works. Thanks so much, by the way. I completed the HTML and CSS courses from the Odin Project, and I have you to thank. We'll be back after I go through free code camp. Thank you for your help. No worries, Shiva. I got you. There's still hope for humanity. I appreciate that study. Or studying. Again, the AI thing, it's like my opinion, right? Like, if you want to use AI, by all means, do it. You know, people are already doing it. Many people, you know. But no, I just, I enjoy learning because I enjoy thinking. And I enjoy problem solving. So if that makes me a caveman or somebody who, you know, is behind the times, then so be it. I'm going to define what I want to do with my life and, you know, not let the kind of status quo get in the way, I suppose, so to speak. So I've been playing around with different stream titles too. Like I've got the I've got the no AI in all caps going. But anyway, so I think we need to connect to this database from the API, right? So we have to actually run the API. Oh, but there's no actual like connection to it, right? So I need to actually, so if I go to the index, I need to create like a test query, right? Or schemas. I need to create like a default, like a test schema, right? So is degree actually useful to get a job or an internship in the present job market? It was for me, and purely because, not because of the skills I learned in the degree, but purely for the job, like for getting the job like on paper. Like having the degree is what got me the job, like based on credentials. But what I actually learned in the degree did not translate at all to where I work. Just to be fully transparent, like I work in IT, and IT is very different from computer science. I mean, they're related, they're both tech, but IT is a lot more working with existing infrastructure and managing that infrastructure, whereas like computer science is about like creating and understanding software and like programs and in computers and these sorts of things, right? Yo, how's it going? Kai learns. That's crazy. What's crazy? Okay. So let's keep going here. So I need to make sure that this works, right? So I don't know, do I do the auth now? Do I connect the better auth now? Maybe I do, to actually generate the schema. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's go to better auth and then connect it with Drizzle, right? Because I spun up my own auth last time, but just for like the sake of time, I'm not gonna worry about doing that. Okay. So this needs to be done in our API here. So this is Postgres. So that's our connection string, which should password database. So I go to Drizzle. So we can generate that. Drizzle ORM is powerful and flexible. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go into our API here. And then we're gonna go into, so auth.ts, where did I have that living before? Was it in the root? I honestly forget. Let me open up my other project here. Where did I have that living? Oh no, not this one. This was the TanStack one that I was playing with. Wait, that's not what I want to do, guys. Okay, hold on. I want to go to, where was it? Inventory? Members only, maybe? Was it here? Controllers, was it in utils? I don't remember where I put this. Oh, this wasn't even with the ORM. Okay, hold on. V1 to do. Was it in the inventory app? Oh no, that's the pug stuff. Okay, never mind. Don't mind me. All right, so let's go back to the API here. I guess we could just do it inside of like Hono better off. Let's see. Add the required variables. Oh, because I need to install it, of course. npm add filter API and then better off. Because I think that's the right thing, right? Yeah. It'd be apps/API. Okay. Actually, how do you manage job in this learning stuff? Honestly, it's just it's like trying to think of an answer to that actually, because I've answered it before. I just can't, like, my brain just isn't working right now. Honestly, it's about scheduling, scheduling the streams, enjoying what I do, and also the community showing up and supporting me. That's basically that's how I manage it. How come you have several PNPM workspaces? Is it a choice? Yeah, so basically I'm doing a, so basically what I wanted to do, Hated, was I wanted to create my own stack so that I could see, work with, the front end, the back end, and the database all as separate components, and I do it myself so that I understand it really well. So that's kind of what I decided to do. So I took it upon myself to use PNPM workspaces to create a monorepo that has like the API backend and the front end web and all these sorts of things. If you want to read more about the actual stack, you can read my working on Pastebin here. I go into a little bit more detail on the technical reason, like the technical stuff. But that's basically it. It's for personal learning. It's not for because it's the best solution. It's for my understanding, maximizing my understanding. I agree with your statement. AI won't help you at all professionally after you climb up a bit up the ladder. Yeah, exactly. I believe you can have several packages in a single repo root PNPM. Yeah, but like I have like, there's the individual package JSONs for the like separate projects, right, or the apps or whatever it is, but then I have like a root one, and then they're all underneath this one workspace, right? So this, as far as I understand it, this defines the workspace for the whole project, right? And this is all in one repo. This is a single repo, right? Like we've got one Git tree here and everything, so. But you need, when you're installing dependencies, you install the dependencies per package, right? Or at least that's the idea. Okay, so we need to define the better off instance. But the problem is we need to get this .env into the API, which I don't know if it can actually read it. Use Hono with better off. So we have these better off secret, better off URL. Okay. Trusted origins, email and password. Yeah, because I would need to get these from the shared env. And we were having issues with this before. Right, so because this is using Drizzle. Or not Drizzle, sorry, it's using Prisma. Database, Prisma adapter, provider. So we need to do Drizzle. Okay, so we have Drizzle already installed. Then we have our database, which is coming from here. right? So that's where that's coming from. So we need to, so we export our database from the client, right? So this auth TS, I'm not exactly sure where it's supposed to live. I think it would be under like utils maybe. Oh, not new file. New folder. Or I could even do it under like, nah, let's just keep it here. Auth.ts. Am I working daily? Almost daily. 5 days a week usually. So we'll import better off. And then we'll import drizzle adapter. And we will import db from our package, right? Can't find module db, but it should be under this package, right? Unless I need to like build it or something. db/client. Swear to God, how did I do this before? Let's go to my to-do here. Okay, so this is my to-do stuff. And then, how did I connect to the database here? Oh, I just used the database from DB. Yeah, import query from DB, but I don't know where that's resolution's happening. Like it should be understood from the apps packages ***. Okay, so maybe I can copy this. Not open. Let's go to drive. Okay, so then now maybe this import will work. Yes, it does. Okay, nice. Or not. Slash. Oh, right, I need to install the thing. I need to actually have it as a dependency, right? So it'd be db is workspace db. So does that work? Maybe I need to actually install it. Okay, so we have that. Let's see. Add shared package to package? I don't know. This is the part I hate most of JS repos. Yeah, fair. Because I just like forget how to do this stuff, right? There's a command for it, surely. Yeah, so packages in our PNPM workspace, that's how I have it configured. Dependencies, package one is workspace star. But I want to just include the database. Like, there's got to be a command for this, man. PNPM workspace filter add, okay. So if I do PNPM workspace filter API add DB. Okay, now that should be fine. Okay, so literally, okay, so that's fine. Module DP has no exported member, so it'd be db slash client.ts, right? Oh, maybe I need to export it from, I probably have to export it from the index, right? So I have to export or import db from client.js and then export db from the index. There we go. That now it's good because now I can get it from. All right, so now we're getting it. Okay. So we have that dependency done. So that's good. So now we can get this working. So we can do our exports. Const auth is equal to better auth. Database is drizzle adapter, and then DB, and then using this, and then provider is Postgres. And then the rest of my config, but where would we do the config stuff? Oh, and then I also need to do that PNPM add filter API better auth slash drizzle adapter. Okay, so that's good. So then we need to import that from at better auth drizzle adapter. There we go. Oh, there we go. Okay. But then there's a bunch of options right in this config. So then the other thing was getting the Zod stuff, right? It's not a single star for packages, no. Or is it not a single star? I would assume not. I don't actually know what the difference between the single star and the double star is. So let's actually like figure that out. Because we have the double star. I don't know what the double star does. For your description, I think you may be trying to create two separate workspaces directly. Yes, that's probably what it is. PNPM. Wait, I want to keep this open. Configuration. Yeah, so all packages and subdirectories of components. Oh, I see. So this is like it basically includes all subdirectories. So like for example, if you have like a package within a package, it'll include all of it. I think that's what that means. But this is only direct subdirectories, right? So I think theoretically, if all of our packages are a direct subdirectory of this packages file, the single star would work. But this includes all subdirectories. So you can have like, it doesn't matter. It's like agnostic to the level. That's my understanding. So in various subdirectories under, as long as it has a root of components. All right, so that's cool. Okay, and then this is just a bunch of settings here, but I want to use okay, so I got a drizzle adapter. Email and password. Do enabled. And then now that should be everything I need, right? For the auth, I think. Maybe. So, I mean, Lord willing, this works. Okay, so let's make sure we have those dependencies installed first. So we need drizzle ORM. So pnpm add filter API drizzle ORM rcpg.env, and then pnpm add drizzle kit. We already have TSX, and then we do types PG. All right, and then we have our database URL, and then so, oh no, but I already did all this in, sorry, this is the database side. Why am I doing this in the API? I'm silly. So I don't know why I did that, actually. Forget what I said. I think we still need the .env though. So I don't need drizzle kit. I don't need types PG either. Okay, so then this should just work. I don't know why I was, because I set that up in here. So we're good. Because we have our database package. JSON has drizzle ORM, drizzle kit. Yeah, okay, so we're fine. Okay, then we can generate this schema, maybe. Or would this auth need to live inside of the database? You know what? Maybe it does actually. Because is this gonna generate the schema? Where's the schema gonna be generated? Maybe this needs to, like, this config thing needs to live inside of the DB package, now that I think about it. I think that actually makes more sense. Why did I do that here? I think that's because I was doing that last time. Okay, so let's just do all that in the database stuff. Okay, so let's go to new file. new folder auth, and then we'll do auth.ts, and then we'll just import this guy. So then we'll do pnpm add filter db better auth. And then, does this fix this? Okay. And then better auth drizzle. And then we don't even need the DB. We need the DB from client, right? And then export. Oh yeah, we already are exporting it. Okay, nice. And then we can export that from index, right? Import auth. And then export DB auth. Okay. So now, okay, so now we're actually generating the schema on the database side, which makes a hell of a lot more sense, I think. I don't think I need this either. I don't need this. Okay. So now if we do pnpm dlx filter db auth at latest generate, or do we not add the filter? PNX. Or do I navigate to the file and then run it? I don't know. All right, I'm gonna take another 5-minute break, guys. Just continue going here. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the washroom real quick. So yeah, let me just add a new scene. Oh wait, that's not what I wanted. And then I'll just do like a little, okay, hold on. I can just add text here. Let's do text. Then we'll do, okay, we have Helvetica, enable anti-aliasing. Okay, we'll do like a different color maybe. Looks disgusting. Okay. I think it was at Control D, Command D. There we go. Centered. Perfect. All right. Let's just rename this to BRB. Okay. Okay. All right. Be right back. Wait, not that. All right, I'm back. Yeah, so it looks like the display froze again. God, whatever. So I apologize for that. I don't know how to fix that because I tried to do this. I tried to run this thing that does a command that refreshes the display, but that doesn't seem to work very well. So I'm going to keep playing with it. So we'll see. We will see what happens. So yeah, because I don't really want to use, go back to Streamlabs ideally, but the OBS display freezing thing is freaking annoying. So yeah, it is what it is. You know, not much you can do about it. I mean, there are things you can do, but I don't know. I'll have to look into it more. Okay, all right, let's get back to it. May or may not be the last Pomo, only because I'm feeling like a headache starting to come on, and if it gets worse, I'm probably gonna stop after this 25-minute session. But if I'm all right, then I'll keep pushing and do 2 more. So let's go back. Let's get back to it. All right, so yeah, I don't think we need to bother. Okay, so I think we just navigate to the package, right? PNPX auth at latest. Moment of truth. Do you want to generate the schema, auth schema TS? Oh, you know what, actually? Hold on. We need to actually specify where the schemas go. So I want to put schema... better auth specify where schemas live, maybe. Because if I create a folder schemas, I don't know if it'll will it create the schema? Like for Postgres, we should be able to store the schema inside of a certain directory, right? Like when we generate it, database new pool, okay, that's fine. It's not. You can modify the drizzle schema like the example above. Yeah, but I don't want to modify it. I just want to you know, let's see. I want to get the better auth CLI. Yeah, that's fine. That's not what we want. We want to get like a reference for this function, right? The better auth function. Yeah, so this is the schema. Custom tables. Maybe it needs to create the schema at a certain position or location anyway. So I might be tripping. What is this? Database hooks. Okay, so let's just try it. What's the worst that could happen? Okay. Here it is. So it's auth schema.ts. Import relations from Drizzle ORM. Interesting. So where is that error? Relations. Why not use AI? I have a command for that. I think. Does this work? I'm gonna look like an idiot. What was the command called? Why not AI, maybe? Wait, hold on. Nightbot. What did I call the command? Why not AI? That's what I called it. There we go. That's it. Damn it. See, it cut off again. Yeah, no worries. No worries, Rasmus. But yeah, basically just personal opinion. What the... As I can... The ending should be as I continue to learn. So it cuts off, but it should say as I continue to learn because YouTube has a message character limit. But you can also, if you're curious as to like who I am and what I'm about, you can read my FAQ here. So there's more information there. All right, so we generated the schema, but then it's not giving me, so this relations is not, so where's that used? Relation. Yeah, okay, so that's not, maybe it's a different version. Sounds good, sounds good. Yeah, you don't have to read it, but it's there. Drizzle relation. Let's see, Drizzle ORM, Drizzle. Define relations from Drizzle ORM. So that would be, need to fix that then. And then we can't get these many in one. R dot user. We have the user there. So I don't know why this isn't. This generated schema is not working. Why is this not working? So I don't want to have to do this manually, man. Better off drizzle generated schema. I don't know why. Yeah, it's because it's like, so it generated the schema, but it's like using a like function that doesn't exist. So if I delete this and then try to generate it again, like with pnpm auth at latest generate, it'll generate the schema, but then it will be like, it'll be errored out. Like this relations doesn't exist. What do you mean by no AI, even for hints? Yep. No AI means no AI. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure why that is. Oh, I can change the output. Okay, so I could put this inside of like a, yeah, so I don't know why it's deciding here that Drizzle ORM has no exported member relations. Like, what is that all about? The Drizzle function is not exported directly from the main Drizzle ORM package. Import. Instead, it must be imported from the database specific submodule. Oh. Node Postgres. So if I run this client, oh, that's, no, I already have that. I like this approach. It's like solving math problems without a calculator. Yeah, exactly. Like right now I'm debugging this schema generation from the ORM, right? Or from BetterAuth, I mean, sorry. But in the ORM. So basically the problem is I'm using BetterAuth, right? Which BetterAuth is essentially like a library that provides me middleware and other sorts of things. Not even just middleware, but also like database configuration for what should I call it? For authentication, right? And so in doing that, I set up this auth.ts file, which kind of defines this configuration. But the generated schema is the schema that's generated inside of Drizzle's, like this is Drizzle syntax, is trying to import this dependency relations that doesn't exist. Sometimes the editor might report that it's not defined and then it does work. Interesting. So I mean, I could always try migrating it. So if I just tried migrating it, so if I go back here, where was it? So if I go to Drizzle, then I need to migrate it, right? So I go to auth. No, okay, that's not where I would do that. CLI, and then migrate, right? So let's see info here. So the database clients, Node.js version. Okay, but all right, that's fine. I don't know. Okay, so let's continue here. Try import Drizzle in that file. In here, inside the schema. Because I import Drizzle here for actually generating the database, and then I use the database inside of auth here. Well, let's try migrating it at the very least. So it'll be, I think, auth at latest migrate, right? I'll just watch. Yeah, fair enough. We'll watch and learn together. All right, base URL is not set. Oh, okay. So then do I need to, inside of here, can it not get this URL? Maybe not. I have a suspicion that I can't get that. I have a suspicion that it is undefined. Yes. Okay, it is undefined. Okay, so that's part of our problem, that we can't get the friggin' URL from the environment variables, which is what was happening last time. Great. I wonder, yeah, because I have the environment variables defined at the root level, but then I need to import them inside of our package, right? pnpm use env variables inside packages within workspace. Trying to figure out how to get. So that's part of our problem. Is there a environment variable thing here? Pure dependency, no. Environment variables whose names start with pnpm configure load and configuration. Yeah, I don't know. Cross env, what's this? Because I have types node here. Good job, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. Okay, but I want to be able to use, like, I should be able to have the env inside of, like, so then if I copy this and I paste it inside of our databases. Oh, shit. Well, I don't really care. Because this is just local anyway. I'll probably change this before I'm not going to fucking deploy it anyway. So I don't really give a shit about this being public. So, because I'm not, it's just localhost, right? So now, does this actually work? We'll find out. Because it says, okay, maybe undefined. So let's see if it's defined. Okay, so it is defined. Base URL is not set. Okay, but what was that not? Do I need to give it a base URL? Let's see. Base URL is not set. So the base URL option are better auth URL environment, or use a dynamic base URL, which allows. Oh, I see. Okay. So if I did that, so if I did better auth URL here, and then just had it to be the same thing. I don't know. We'll find out. Make Netflix? Yeah, I don't know about that. Definitely not. Not yet. Okay, so let's see. Migrate command only works with the built-in Keasley adapter. For Drizzle, run an npx auth generate to create the schema, then use Drizzle's migrate. Oh, to push or apply. Oh, I need to use Drizzle's migrate. Okay. So then I think I can actually then do pnpm db migrate, right? Script match with db migrate is present in the root workspace. You may run pnpm wrun db migrate. Oh, right. Because I'm not running it from the root. Right. Okay, so that didn't work. Either connection URL or host database are required for PostgreSQL database connection. No config path, drizzle config, dialect. Oh, because the schema, I see. So I need to define a different. Okay, so let's do new folder schemas, and then we'll put the auth schema inside of this, and then we'll do /schemas like this. Okay, so that presumably worked better because we didn't get the schema error from last time. No config path, either connection URL host database are required. But that's, oh, is that inside of this config? Okay, so let's go to the drizzle define config here. Okay, I don't know where the define config is. Dialect, debrief credentials, migrations. This is basically like what I've got here, right? So I've got schemas and then everything inside of there. But then I guess we can't connect. Can I give it a URL? Be like URL here. Database. Hosts. Yeah, I don't know. Introspect, schema filter, okay, well there's nowhere to add this. Reading config file, either connection URL, host, or database needs to be defined. Yeah, but like I define the connection here. right? So I don't know what's going on with that. Because I shouldn't have to define the URL inside of the config, right? Like, surely not. What if we generate first? Maybe that's part of our problem. Okay, still not working. Relations is not a function. Okay, so now we're back to where we were before. Drizzle ORM relations is not a function. So then that probably failed, right? Yeah. Okay, so I don't care about the NV getting leaked because it's just local shit that I'll change anyway. Okay, so that's fine. So we had to generate it first. So the better auth generation did not, we need to actually generate it on the local side, right? So this is part of our problem. So we have this relations from drizzle ORM here, which is not an exportable thing, right? So now we're back to square one a little bit. There's no max. Okay, so we're back here. The drizzle function is not exported. Okay, so then but I need relation. Is no exported member. Drizzle has no exported member relations. So I guess that's not like, Okay, let's keep going here. Yeah, so it's define relations. Import relations from drizzle ORM underscore relations. There we go. That's what I needed. So the generated shit from, so it's still using v1. But this is because BetterAuth. So BetterAuth, this is bullshit. So BetterAuth used the v1 relations, whereas you need to actually do it this way. So the generated shit for BetterAuth here was not working. Okay, so that's fine though. So we fixed it. So now this should generate properly. Okay, nice. Okay, so now we have our migration here. And then if we do db migrate. Okay, so it still didn't work. Because it probably can't connect to the goddamn thing, right? What if we do db push? Probably same error, I'd imagine. Yeah. So either connection URL, host database are required for Postgres database connection. Yeah, but where do I define those? Like I define them here. Like the connections through this client right here, right? We have this process.env.postgres URL. That's where that's coming from, right? And like we have that defined, right? So I don't understand why this isn't working, because we construct this database here with the drizzle client. But then like, so I don't know. Yeah. So I'm confused why then this isn't working, because we have our connection here. So I guess it can't connect, which is interesting. Yeah. So that's basically what I did here. I think what you can try to do is go into your node modules to see all the paths defined by Drizzle. Yo, how's it going, Innovation? Welcome. So that'd be node modules inside of here, right? So we have Drizzle kit. Holy frig. Drizzle ORM, and then we should see the Postgres.js here, right? But the thing is, it just can't connect to it, right? So we've got our, like, if we go to Docker PS here, we have our database running inside of a container, but this thing should just be able to connect, but I don't know why it can't. So I'm just confused, I guess. Because, okay, so let's console log this again. Right? Oh, so it didn't even console log it and migrate? Interesting. What's the Postgres URL string? So it's inside of env here, but I just have it as this. I'm just using a basic Postgres user and password. It doesn't really matter. But yeah. You have the Postgres URL and the database URL. It's like... wait, where? Did I find two different things? Hold on. No. I'm pretty sure it's Postgres. Oh, is it? Yeah, I had it as this. / localhost. So I don't know. Now, it is possible that the password is not needed. Because I don't think when I connect to it, like if I do, when I do Docker exec it, and then the container name, which was BenStack, shit, what was it? BenStack drive db1, and then in PSQL user Postgres. Yeah, so that connected there. And then if I list the databases, you can see the drive DB here. So maybe I don't even need the password. Use Neon hosting. Not at that level yet, my friend. I'm not hosting yet. What's the issue right now? Just connecting to my database, which is in a container. That's basically that's the issue. So I think actually I can just remove this password because I don't think I actually set a password, and that might be causing trouble. So let's try this again. Okay, no, so it still didn't work. And I don't know why. Because it should be getting this from that environment variable. Did you want to wipe the database file in between changing settings? Or did I wipe the database file? What do you mean? Like the container? Because the database is here. You should print out the past in URL string, yeah. But it didn't print out. Go to the env file real quick. I've got it here. I had this better auth URL thing, but I don't think I need that anymore. I don't think I need the password because I have the drive DB. So I just confirmed here that when I enter into the container, I have the drive DB exists, right? So it's right here inside the container, but then I need to actually like connect to it, right? And this like will be changed. This is just, again, just for practice. I'll probably have a different production, you know, whatever, but so I don't care about like sharing the env or whatever. And it's exposed on port 5432, right? Bro, the .env is bad. Is it bad? What do you mean? Did you import .env? The issue is in drizzle config. Yeah, that's what I thought, but I didn't know like what to define here. I was using the the recommended the documentation for that. I don't know if I need to import .env/config, unless I do. Inside index here. I check what kind of URL gets passed to the connection function. Yeah, I know, but I don't know how to check that easily. Because if I... So like if we... Oh. Okay, well that didn't seem to change anything. Oh, that was the generate. So if I do push. Yeah. So it's not printing anything out. I'd imagine something loads the... Try importing the .env inside the drizzle config file. Oh, I could try doing that too. But the thing is, the drizzle config is not reading anything from the .env. I imagine something loads the .env and set the process env variables to the content of that env, which you should be able to print out. You can ask AI for problems in the config. That's okay. Just make sure AI doesn't code. Yeah, your .env isn't being read most likely. Yeah, that's fair. I think for now maybe then I'm just gonna pass in the URL directly and just I'll debug it off stream just because I don't want to get hung up on this for too long. Import the .env and add the DB credentials in your drizzle config. Oh, okay. I could do that too. Oh, DB credentials URL. Oh, shit. Okay. That's what we could do. I don't know why I didn't see that. And then we could just do URL here, and then we do process.env.database URL. And then the other thing I need to do is, why is that all red? Because I need to import it, right? Import .env. The fuck, why? Does this need to be like inside of a, like this sort of deal? I don't know. Because it should be a string, right? Okay, so that's not working, obviously. Or maybe it is that. And then we can just, okay, so that is what it is. And then we just need to import. Well, actually, let's see if this works first, and then if it doesn't work, then we'll see. Okay, that was better. Reading schemas. Get address info, not found. Pulling schema from database, get address info, error not found. So it still can't find that, right? But we're giving it the database URL. Import, oh, it's import.env/config, is that it? Okay, apparently not. Should have. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Now we're good. There we go. Yep. I should have added it as a dev dependency. I just forgot about that. So let's just fix that real quick. There. Now we're good. Yeah, that might be why. Okay, cool. So now let's try it again. Okay. Chat is AI. I mean, but at least it's not AI though, you know what I mean? Gotta migrate first. Oh, yes. Okay, so still get fine. I didn't think so. But I'd rather use chat, which is actual people hated, than AI. That's just, again, my opinion. So let's see. Failed query, create schema if not exists. Hello, I'm on day 4 of Odin Project. I will try to stay consistent. Thank you for inspiring me. I appreciate that, blurry face. It's probably getting a bogus URL. Get address info is a libc function for resolving host names to IP addresses. Oh, okay. So this is going all the way down to that type of shit. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like, I have a massive headache right now, and I'm just trying to like push through this, just to see if to get this to work. But it is not, and I feel like I'm kind of. But I want to push through this last 15 minutes here. Yeah, so you're right. It's probably getting a URL, but at least it can read something, right? So what if I just try to like write it in manually, and then I'll figure out the because this gotta go back to the env, add back the password and shit. But I don't know if I need to though, because the original database, like when I connected to it with, like from the Docker container, I didn't need the password, right? It just worked without the password. So maybe I don't need it. I don't know. Maybe I do though. I genuinely have no idea. So like what if I just write it like DB credentials in your current drizzle? Yeah. So if I go to my client, you should see it here, right? Like I'm getting in the Postgres URL here. But I can't just put post process. I can't just put this in because it doesn't like me just putting in the process env. I need to like wrap it in a string like this. Or is it because it's undefined? It's because it's potentially undefined. So what if I did this? Ah, that fixes it. Okay. So let's try that one more time. Okay, we got a different thing here. Client password must be a string. Oh, okay, so it does. Is it expecting a password now? I just gave it a bogus password. Maybe it needs it. Okay, so let's add back the password then. Okay, we add back the password. Okay, like almost though, right? Okay, so auth failed. So it couldn't connect. Because like, so what's the default password then? Oh, you know what? If I do, maybe the password is also Postgres. Is the default? Okay, let's see. Postgres default password, because the password might also be Postgres. Like, is there no default password by I don't think there is such a thing. Okay. There might not be. That's why I didn't have a password initially, though. Okay, so like... Okay, so the password's just a space. I didn't think so, right? So if we go back again, and then just put the Postgres password as nothing, then would that work? I don't know. Okay, so still auth failed. But I can connect to it like this, though. Like I can do docker exec psql u postgres. But it's still saying auth failed because presumably the password's bogus, right? This is like killing me, man. Or maybe I don't need, like, let's just try this without the password here. I'm just trying a bunch of different shit. Okay, that didn't work either. Client password must be a string. Yeah, but I don't, what if I don't want a password though? What if I just want to connect as the user? What was the original password when creating the container? I didn't give it a password. I just, I wasn't, honestly, I was just giving it bullshit. I wasn't, I didn't give it a password. Again, that was going to be, that's just to get it up and running. Notice how it says it can't find password for Postgres user. Not every .env parser can expand variables like that. So .env is just text. It doesn't have automatic variable expansion. Oh. Okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Okay. But I got that from somewhere. Like the expansion. The variable expansion stuff. I got that from a documentation somewhere. I forget where it was. I'm not going to remember now, but I got that from somewhere. Was it in here? I don't remember. But I hear you now. I see what you're saying. So if I change this to just Postgres and then drive DB. I'm just saying it depends on the ENV parsing library whether it expands or not. Oh, okay, got you. Okay, that would explain it then. Client password must be a string. Okay, but did it at least say the authentication failed for the right user? Because I know it was doing the... Maybe I don't need the colon. No. Same problem. Okay. Basically, Drizzle couldn't find the database at first because the connection URL wasn't configured. Yeah, I know that. I know that now. Just add the password for testing, but I don't know what the Okay, so if I just add a password, like whatever it is. So if I just do Postgres, we'll just see. Yeah, so now, okay, so now it says failed. Password authentication failed for Postgres. But like, what if it, because it doesn't have a password. So I don't know how to like have a user, but then without a password. So let's see. Postgres connect with user and no password or something. Let's see. In your ENV, it's just Postgres password. Oh, is it? Yeah, I know. So would I just give it a bogus password? Like, that's not going to work either, right? Yeah, because it's still not, because it doesn't have the user Postgres does not have a password set, right? Because I can connect to it by doing, just PSQL user Postgres, right? And then that does work. I tried just giving it a password. Check what password Docker Postgres was created with. I can try to do that. Let's see. Postgres, Docker container, Docker image. And then if I go to Alpine here, then I can check this out. Yeah, so it wasn't given. So you go add group here. Add user Postgres, but it doesn't define a password, I don't think. Run Docker compose YML in your terminal bash. Sure. So like do the same, like just Docker compose again. Is that kind of what you're saying? Like Docker, so if I go, oops, Docker compose. Yeah, so it says it's already running. But this is the image that I used, right? So in my Docker compose here, this is the image that I used, and then this is the image's definition, right? So we're adding a user here. I could just give it a password. We could circumvent all of this if I just went into the connection. Where is it? And then I just gave it a password, right? I could just give it a password. It's not the same image, really. I try the credentials you set when setting up the container first. Well, I didn't give it any credentials. I just did, this is the container here. I used this image. And it's just defaults, right? I would assume this is the same thing though, because that tag was used here, 18 Alpine. Right. So you have a drive, so there's persistent data amounts as a volume. Yeah. So that's fine. Meaning the user was created when the volume was first initialized. Yeah, no, I understand that. But like, open the Docker YML file. This one? Because this is the Docker file for, what stack am I using, Marta? I'm using my own stack. You can read about it here. This is the Docker compose here. And I'm basically just using the Postgres image from the library, the Docker library, and then just basically doing basic configuration. Oh, if you want to completely reset all the credentials, the from line in the image is Alpine 3.24. Yeah, but then it's configuring. Because like, okay. So if I Docker compose down, right, and then DB or Docker PSA, we don't see any PS, right? And then if I Docker volume RM BenStack drive, we remove the volume and then recompose it, right? But then add Postgres host method, trust under the environment section of your Docker compose, then recreate the database container because the setting only applies on first setup. Ooh, okay. Okay, so let's do that. So then environment. And then Postgres host auth method. Trust. Let's see. Where's the variable though? Depending on the some db and vvarus. Okay, sounds good. Postgres at localhost. Okay, let's try this. Okay, so we changed this. We added that environment variable there. Let's recompose. Okay, we created the volume. And then now we can go here. And then I changed the environment to Postgres at localhost. And then we can do Docker, or not Docker. Shit, what was the command? I think I have a alias for it here. db migrate. So I can do pnpm run db migrate. Yes. Yes, that worked. Okay, now, if we connect to it, we should go into connect to BenStack drive, or drive data. Wait. Drive DB, sorry. And then relations. There they are. There they are. Perfect. Got it. The volume persisted the state of the DB. Yeah, was it not before? I thought it had. Right on time? Yes, indeed. I appreciate your help, Days, and innovation for that. I'm learning front-end fundamentals and going to React now. What level does someone need to attain before learning the next thing? My recommendation would be to just try learning it, and then if it feels too difficult, then take a step back. Appreciate it. I appreciate that help so much. And again, I would much rather, and this is kind of like a point that I want to make. I would much rather get help from real human beings that know what they're doing instead of just like blindly prompting AI, right? So, anyways, thank you guys for the help. We've got it migrated now. So then theoretically, if we try to push it, it'll just say no changes, right? Yeah, no changes detected. Perfect. Nice. Okay. So that does work now. All right. That was really confusing because I've never done this before. That's why I have a Docker volume RM command in my command runner for this very reason when developing PG. Yeah. Right. So was it because the old volume was bad? Like, because it didn't have the trusted creds? Like, so when we were doing this here, where was it? In here. Was it because we didn't have this flag set? Was that the main reason? And then it was because the old config was persisted, so this didn't matter, so I had to remove the volume. Is that the reason why it wasn't working? That makes sense. That makes sense. So even though there was no password, it was still expecting a password. I think there were two problems. You had an env read problem, which that was fine. Then changed the credential data, which didn't match what you did before. Main reason it failed is because the Postgres container was created without a password, but Drizzle was trying to connect. That's what I thought, Days. That makes sense. Right. That makes sense. So this flag needed to get set. That makes sense. So basically, I was in this situation where there was no password set in my config. However, Drizzle needed a password, or the container was expecting a password or something like that, right? And there was none given. so it was kind of like it was like an impossible scenario, right? That makes sense. Okay, the more you know. I thought this is what I assumed. I assumed that if you just didn't give it a password, so there was no password defined by default, right? I didn't know that you needed to do this. This was the ticket right here. Anyway, I appreciate that. So now we have that understanding. So I should probably I'm gonna watch this stream back after and take some notes. But anyway, I appreciate all of your help. That's gonna be it for this stream, I think. I appreciate you, Days. I appreciate your patience with me as well. If you want to join my Discord community, Mart or anyone else, you can join the Discord to ask ask questions to people in the community. So if you want help there, you can join the Discord. Feel free to subscribe, support the channel if you would, if you're so inclined. If you want to see more of my stuff. By the way, I'm looking to adjust. Way easier to set up commands like those aliases. Already in. Appreciate you. I think innovations in the Discord, Mart. So you can just ask in the Discord. But yeah, no, subscribe. Follow along. I go live 5 days a week, so be there. I guess if you want. Anyway, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you all on Tuesday. So I'll be off tomorrow. Your Discord, ZavinQ, got you.